Welcome to Answer the Call with Tim Collins, covering NFL, college football, and the future stars of the draft. Bold takes, real analysis, and the football questions everyone's asking. I'm also going to start implementing a little bit more other sports. So it's going to be more sports versus just football. So the clock is ticking. Let's answer the call. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Welcome in to another episode of Answer the Call. Like I said, I am your host, Tim. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. You know, a lot of news happening in the NFL. Of course, some big news in the world of college basketball as number 5 Wisconsin got beat by High Point. And I got to tell you, me and Brandon from the Sports Nuts, we were sitting there texting back and forth, and we were watching these games. And I got to tell you that I was a little shocked. I did not know that High Point could score at will, and they like to run up and down the court really fast and shoot threes. They live and die by the three. They massive upset. We see it every year, but I thought this year we were going to see a little less of it with the NIL and the transfer portal and stuff like that. But High Point said, you know what? We're going to go out and win. And I believe that was their first NCAA tournament win ever. Also, Nebraska got their first NCAA tournament win, and they're the last of the Power Four to do so. So big news coming out right there. March Madness is alive, and represent the Hogs. The Hogs did it. I didn't think they were going to win that big. I thought it was going to be a kind of a closer game. Arkansas Razorbacks showed up, showed out, and just put the beating on Hawaii. So I don't know how far they're going to go, really. I don't think I have them making it past the Sweet 16. There is a lot of tough teams, you know, especially in the SEC and even beyond. So I don't have them going super far, but who knows? Maybe when I start doubting them, it will be the time that they show me up. So we had some good games earlier. I'm going to check these scores out for you guys, and let me know which one was kind of a shocker to you. We got North Carolina going right now against VCU, winning 48-30. Michigan kind of in a close game, 43-34 versus Howard. Texas and BYU, 30-25. But Duke, how about Duke? Duke barely beat Siena, okay? They barely beat them. And at one point, they were down double digits at the first half. High Point was the shocker of the day. Yes, Pitch Grid. To those that'll be listening, we are live on Facebook and live on YouTube. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, tapping on the bells, getting all the notifications. So Duke barely survives. And at one point, I believe that they were down by 10 at the half. And that was the first time a number 16 team has led by double digits versus the number 1 team in NCAA history. I believe that's what they said. So holy cow, Duke barely survives. That makes me wonder, like, how far can Duke go now? Because they barely beat a team that I felt they should have dominated, down as much as 13. You know, I thought they were going to come out and dominate, but that wasn't the case. And the head coach, you know, they you might remember the head coach, he had that game-winning 3 for Syracuse back in the 2003 finals to, you know, help Syracuse win the national title back in 2003. So he really got his players motivated. He got them going, but in the end, Duke prevailed. And I got to say, I don't know how my bracket's doing. How's your guys' bracket doing, guys? Let me know how your bracket's doing, because mine might be I had Wisconsin winning, obviously. So that one kind of hurt me right off the bat. But I think I'm still doing good. You know, let's see. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm 80% right now. I'm 80%. not good, not looking good. But, you know, this was my first bracket this year. I only did one. So, and I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't get around to watching as much college basketball as I should have because I was focused on the NFL and the offseason. So I'm at 80%. My final four, though, I have a strong final four, I feel like, or at least I was confident at one point. Um, I have Arizona, Florida, Michigan State, and Michigan in the final four, with Arizona winning the national championship. And I think I did 143 points in the national title game. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see, guys. But so sticking with some college sports real quick, Arkansas track and field, to be more specific, has won the national championship. So kudos to the Arkansas track and field winning the national championship. That is the one area where they seem to always thrive. Arkansas sports, you know, basketball, they can get to the Elite Eight, sometimes the Final Four. You know, in football, they usually make a bowl game. Baseball, they make the College World Series. They make it a little ways, but the Arkansas track and field is where they really shine, and they won the national championship. And of course, Arkansas made it to the final and won the SEC title in the SEC tournament before the NCAA tournament in basketball. Their first SEC title since 2000. So kudos to the basketball team, and kudos to them winning today versus Hawaii. So, like I said, in the intro, we're going to start implementing a little bit more sports. And I'm going to tell you why real quick. Okay. I'm going to tell you why we're going to start implementing a little more sports. And that's because I'm getting some guests coming on the show, guys, and they're basketball people. Okay. And I don't want to sit here and look silly in front of a bunch of basketball people not being able to talk ball. I mean, it says it in my slogan, talk ball with Answer the Coll. Well, I can't answer that call if I don't know the ball. All right. So we're going to watch a little basketball. We're going to watch a little hockey. We have some big guests coming on next Tuesday at noon p.m. Central Time. From Chicago Sports Radio, Marcus McCullum will be joining the show. I'll be sitting down, doing an interview with him, having a good time, picking his brain. He, seeing what the world of Chicago sports, what Chicago sports is like. So I'm going to sit down noon p.m. Central Time, Tuesday. And then, guys, I'm also working Dan Scott, the voice of, who is it? Burham. I probably butchered that, and I do apologize. Let me check that real quick. Furman. Dan Scott, the voice of them, the play-by-play, he has agreed to come on to the show once Furman's team is done from the NCAA tournament. So we have another big guest right there. I don't know exactly when, so stay tuned for the details on that. But guys, big shout out to Brandon at the Sports Nuts. Okay. He might have just got me a good guest to come on. And that is the voice of the Atlanta Hawks, Mr. Bob himself. He has agreed. We're still working out kind of the details on when. He had a big game last night. What about that player that hit that full court shot by accident? I don't know. Was it an accident? Was he going for an alley-oop? Was he trying to shoot the ball? I don't know, but he makes a full court shot. So we're going to be sitting down, talking to him, picking his brain, seeing what the Atlanta sports world is like and how basketball in Atlanta is versus some of these other cities. So 3 big guests lined up already. Plenty more to come. You guys, plenty more to come. All right. And if anybody ever wants to come onto the show, wants to reach out, you can find me on the socials. Answer the Coll, COLL. You can also email me at answerthecoll@gmail.com. That's answerthecoll, COLL @gmail.com. Reach out. If you know somebody that you think would be a great fit for me to reach out to, send them my way. Let me know. I'll reach out to them. We'll see if we can't get some more guests to come on the show. And I'm super excited, guys, because, this is what it's about. You sit down, you're doing the work, and you start to see progress. And the guests, are starting to come on the show. And so for me, this is like a dream come true. This is what I've always wanted. I took kind of a long path to get here, but this is what I want to do. And big shout out to Brandon for helping me out. And, I can never thank him enough. John He from the Pitch Grid Pod. He does awesome work. He is a great friend of mine, longtime supporter of the show. So awesome people. And, but that is the kind of breaking news on my end. But we got the first call, and that's the call report. All right. Kyler Murray signs a 1-year deal with the Vikings. And then the Vikings today turned around and re-signed Carson Wentz. So now they got 3 quarterbacks. And I guess they're going to rock, paper, scissors to see which one is going to be the starting quarterback. But I don't know. My money's on Kyler because, why would you bring in such a high-profile name if you're not going to have him start? Maybe it is just to add pressure to J.J. McCarthy. But let's be real. If you believed in J.J. McCarthy, you would not have brought in Kyler Murray. I'm just saying. Also, what's up with this? Like, you went from 6'2" J.J. McCarthy to 5'9", 5'10" Kyler Murray. Come on. We're going the wrong way in terms of height at quarterback. But speaking of quarterbacks, the Kansas City Chiefs decided that they were going to redeem their points and cash in and basically get a free McValue meal. Okay, they got a free McValue meal by acquiring Justin Fields because they gave up almost nothing. They're giving up a 2027 6th-round pick, so not even this year, a next year 6th-rounder. And the Jets are going to eat most of the salary of Justin Fields. So, like I said, they are cashing in their points. They got a McValue meal, and they have what looks to be the quarterback if Patrick Mahomes can't go come regular season. So, once again, Jets out there doing what Jets do, and that's make questionable calls. If I was the Jets, I would have been like, no, I want at least a 6th-round pick this year, and we're going to split the salary. But, it is what it is. The Jets took it, and Kansas City now. And, hey, look at Justin Fields. He finally has a system, finally has a great coach, a great offensive-minded coach that maybe he can turn his career around, like Sam Darnold did in San Francisco, in Seattle. Maybe this is what Justin Fields needs, is just a 1-year deal to go prove himself, and it's going to be the resurgence of Justin Fields. I don't know. I don't think so, but it could happen. Stranger things have happened. Speaking of trades, Dolphins trade Jalen Waddle to the Broncos for a 2026 first, a late 3rd, and a late 4th. This is, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Okay. Depends on how you look at it, whether or not the Broncos won or the Dolphins won. Dolphins seem like they're in rebuild mode. They signed Malik Willis. They cut to they fired Mike McDaniel. They're bringing in a whole new coaching staff. It really just looks like they're trying to tear this team apart. They're in full rebuild. Smart move for them. They got the picks. Broncos. Now, some people say they overpaid. Did they overpay? Did they not overpay? Okay, so the Broncos were in the AFC Championship and very close to making it to the Super Bowl. And who knows what would have happened in the Super Bowl had it been Seahawks versus Broncos. So I think that this is kind of a win-win because the Broncos now have a true number 1 wide receiver. They have somebody that can go up, get the ball outside of Cortland Sutton for Bo Nix. look at Sean McVay. He doesn't value draft picks. Sean Payton doesn't really value draft picks. And if you looked at Sean Payton over his career, he has done many, many wonders in the third, fourth. Well, they're not going to have a third and fourth, but the fifth, sixth, seventh round. So I still trust the Saints. Wow. I still trust the Broncos to be able to go out and have a solid draft. And I like it for both teams. So win-win in my book. They might have slightly overpaid, but that first is almost a second. So I mean it's kind of a little bit more than what the Bills paid for DJ Moore. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it by any means. Next up, we have the Eagles re-signing Dallas Goedert to a one-year deal and signing wide receiver Hollywood Brown to a 1 year, $10 million. What does this say about A.J. Brown? This looks like he's out the door is what it looks like. He could be out the door, out of Philadelphia, but I guess the Rams have requested, his bill of health, so to speak, and they didn't like what they saw, so they might be out on the A.J. Brown sweepstakes, and I don't know. Hopefully the Chargers don't decide that they want him because they already had a lackluster offseason. We don't need somebody with drama. We don't need somebody that's going to be a distraction or who might not even be on the field. So it looks like A.J. Brown, maybe he stays. Maybe this is like, hey, we're trying to put a great offense together for a Super Bowl run, but A.J. Brown complains when he doesn't get the ball too much. So there's that. Another wide receiver signing is 49ers signed Christian Kirk to a 1 year, $6 million. This is a solid veteran pickup. What this tells me is they're going to go draft a wide receiver, and now they've got a couple of vets. They got Mike Evans, they got Christian Kirk, and they're going to go get a young rookie and let him sit behind those two. We had a couple of retirings this week. Darius Slay, 6-time Pro Bowl. Darius Slay, big play Slay, he's retiring. T.Y. Hilton is retiring. So those two had great careers, and they're finally hanging up the cleats. Now, this is the one that kind of really interests me because the NFL opener is now going to be played on Wednesday this year, not Thursday, Wednesday, because the first game in Australia, they want to reserve Thursday for that. I get it. I do. I get it. But come on, guys. It has been tradition. The opening game is Thursday. Come on. Now, I'm all for it because it's just an extra day of football on opening weekend. But come on. Tradition says NFL kickoff starts on Thursday. That should be how it goes. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Are you a fan of them moving it up to Wednesday, the opener? Or because, last week we talked about them possibly doing the game before Thanksgiving Eve and the implement. Now, there's not as big of impact on this particular game as there would be, a week-to-week basis. But I don't know. Tradition says keep the Thursday night kickoff, but I understand the first game in Australia going to be a Thursday primetime game. So they've had the position for price strengthened by recent events. Okay. Well, guys, that wraps up the call report. If there's anything that you want to talk about, let me know. Also, guys, I want to implement something. Okay. I want to implement like a call log or something. I'm going to create a post on social media, probably more specific Instagram. So follow the Instagram at Answer The Coll, COLL. And it'll kind of be, I'll answer your questions on the show. Now, I have no problem answering questions live. And to those that listen on Spotify later, know that we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. So I will try to answer questions in the live chat as we're live. But if there's like and I'm thinking about doing this on Friday, that way you have all weekend to come up with your questions, and come Monday or Tuesday, whenever the first show is of the week, then I will be like, okay, this is the whatever I come up with, and help me out here. What would be a good name for the question set? Call, you know, I don't know what just happened. Hopefully, I'm still alive and kicking because I just went black for a second. But yeah, I'll be making the post on Instagram. Reach out there, ask your questions. I'll answer them, and we'll have fun with it. We'll have fun with it, guys, because I want to show a little appreciation to each and every one of you guys for showing up and showing out every episode, every short, every reel, every post that is made here at Answer the Call. So we have a post free agent frenzy mock draft, and it's a doozy. There were some trades, so people now don't have their. Now, also, I do want to say, in the past I've never done this, but I am thinking about maybe right before the NFL draft, I'm thinking about doing a mock draft with trades, because let's face it, trades happen every year. And I just want to see how close I can get with these trades, because I got a list of their draft picks, like, let's say the Chiefs, or the Cowboys. The Cowboys have 8 picks in the draft. Now, a team like the Ravens, who have 11 picks, or the Steelers, who have 12 picks, the Raiders, who have a plethora of picks, there could be a lot of moves that are made. And I think we're going to see some trades, because I think players are going to fall a little bit further than they normally would due to them being, such a high defensive class. I think maybe a few wide receivers drop a little further than they normally would, or maybe a pass rusher falls. Maybe he has too short of arms, or whatever the case. Players fall every year, and you got to think that when maybe a team, that picked up at the beginning of the first round, they see this and they're like, oh, I could trade back into the middle or the late first round. Now I've got kind of a 2-for-1. Look for teams to do that. And we're going to get started here with this on the clock with Answer the Call mock draft edition. And here we go. Broken record. No shocker here. With the first pick, the Raiders take quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Yay. We know the first pick. If the Raiders don't take Mendoza, this would be like the biggest swerve in recent memory in terms of the NFL draft. This has got to be like the worst kept secret. Fernando Mendoza going number 1. But like, what if the Raiders say, hey, maybe I don't want Mendoza. Maybe I want an elite pass rusher. Oh, wait, we already have those. Maybe I want an offensive tackle. Oh, wait, the last time that happened, that an offensive tackle went first overall was 2013, the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they're like, oh, I want Jeremiah Love. No, they don't, because they have Ashton Genty. I don't see a wide receiver going first overall. So, like I said, worst kept secret. It is Fernando Mendoza, but in the off chance that they don't, obviously the Jets would take Fernando Mendoza at 2, but they're not. The Jets are going to take edge rusher David Bailey from Texas Tech. I really like this guy. He had a great combine. You watch the tape. This is what the Jets need in terms of that defense. And I got to say, number 2, the Jets, they get their guy. Hang on, right here in the middle of this pitch grid. Thoughts on the NFL approving a vote for the sale of the Raiders. Interesting. Did that just happen? Set to vote on Raiders secession plan despite Mark Davis's unwillingness to sell. Well, interesting. Interesting. I don't know, because that's interesting. Because I mean, Mark Davis, I mean, Tom Brady is a minority owner. Would that be who it is? So, all right. Moving right along. Number 3. Sorry for the interruption, but like I said, I will try to answer questions live. Maybe next time I'll wait till the end of the mock draft, but I wanted to answer that one real quick. Cardinals take edge rusher Arvell Reese from Ohio State. Another edge rusher going off the board. And the Cardinals are kind of in a position they could take the offensive tackle Francis Maui Noah. They could, take somebody else. They could take somebody like Sonny Styles, but I think they're going to go edge rusher. They want to solidify that defense a little, and I like the pick, guys. I like the pick here. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Brian Dable, Cam Ward, we saw what the Tennessee did on defense and free agency. They did go out and get Wan'Dale Robinson. In this mock draft, I have them taking running back Jeremiah Love. Now, I do want to point out that I am hearing there are rumors that the Giants could be willing to trade up if necessary to draft Jeremiah Love. If you remember my last mock draft, I had the Giants taking him at 5. Some people thought I was crazy, but it might not be so crazy after all. So, but for this mock draft, they're going to take Jeremiah Love. The Titans are at number 4. Maybe in a future one, the Giants trade up a spot, draft Jeremiah Love. Who knows? So that leaves the Giants to take linebacker Sonny Styles. I don't think there's a way. There's definitely not a way that Styles makes it out of the top 10. Where he falls in that is to be determined. Now, an interesting note, the Chiefs have 2 first-round picks. They have number 9, and they have number 29. 29! Sorry, I had to. Anyway, what if they opted to trade up just a bit and draft Sonny Styles? Because linebacker is a big need. So, I don't know. But not for this mock draft. That could be a future mock draft. Who knows? I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. I'm getting so excited. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sonny Styles at number 5. Browns at number 6 are going to take wide receiver Carnell Tate. They need wide receiver help. They went out and they kind of fixed that offensive line in free agency. I think they still address it. Maybe in round 1 or 2 of the draft, they do have 2 first-round picks. So that could still happen. But for this, they need playmakers on offense. Todd Monken is going to want playmakers. Get them Carnell Tate, and let's see whatever quarterback they roll out decides that they can do. Because they could draft a quarterback for all we know. They could go in there with 5 quarterbacks in the season and rock, paper, scissors, or pick numbers, Oh, I'm thinking of a number. Pick this number. Who knows what the Browns are going to do? Commanders at number 7. They don't have Marshawn Lattimore anymore. This is where it gets interesting too, because for a future mock draft, this is where the Chiefs could very well trade up and take the top corner in this draft. But not for this mock draft. The Commanders take corner Mansour Delane from LSU. Great corner. It's a big need. And this is a guy that can, you can leave him on an island by himself and he's going to lock that one side of the field down. So this would be a great fit for the Commanders, I feel like. Number 8, the Saints take edge. Gonna say they're gonna take edge Ruben Bain because I apparently have Arvell Reese twice for some reason. So we're gonna say they take Ruben Bain at number 8. The Saints need an edge rusher bad. They need help on the defense in the worst of ways, and this would be a great way to solidify an edge spot. Is taking one of the top edge rushers in this draft class. The Chiefs at number 9. Now, offensive tackle is not necessarily a glaring need, but Patrick Mahomes coming off of an injury, or Justin Fields for that matter, is going to need time. They're going to need help, and what better way to do that than taking Francis Maui Noah, offensive tackle from Miami. Put him on the right side, move people around, and I think this would be a great fit for the Chiefs. I think they'd come in. Now, I know Chief fans, I know it's not a sexy pick, but it's a pick, all right? It's the pick, and they need offensive line help. Now, they could go many, many directions here. Depends on how the draft. And I also wouldn't be shocked if they just traded back to get extra picks. So who knows what the Chiefs are going to do? It's still up in the air. At number 10, the Bengals take safety Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs from Ohio State. So if you're keeping track, 1, 2, 3, 4 Ohio State players in the top 10, guys. This is definitely a glaring need, I feel like. It's not a glaring need, but he's the best player at this point for them. You don't want to reach for a defensive line. You don't want to reach for one of the other linebackers. Sure, they could take an edge rusher because they just lost Hendrickson. But, I mean, they do have the 10th overall. They have the 41st, and they have the 72nd, all in the top 100. So this is kind of a deeper edge class than people really give credit for. And so what better way? You just go out and get a great safety and maybe move some pieces around. So we have made it through the top 10, guys. We've made it through the top 10. Dolphins, what? So Dolphins, I didn't actually get to say this, but in the call report, when I was talking about them trading, they're paying $175 million in dead money, more than half of their salary going to players not on their team. You know, they cut Tua, they traded Waddle. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. And for Dolphin fans, I'm sorry. There's not a whole lot of hope right now. I mean, you got to draft well. You got to build for the future, because I don't know, guys. There's just not a whole lot going for you right now. I'm not sold on Malik Willis at quarterback. I'm still not really 100% sold on the head coach. I don't know. Maybe he'll come in and shock us. But you don't have Tyreek Hill. You don't have Waddle. So you got to draft a wide receiver here. Wide receiver, Makai Lemon. Not Malachi, it's Makai Lemon from USC. You know, with Carnell Tate already off the board, Dolphins need an offensive playmaker. Now, they could go a couple different ways here, because, you know, they need wide receiver, corner, edge, O-line, safety. What don't they need? I mean, honestly, if I was them, and if I was the Dolphins and my top 3 players, maybe Makai Lemon is one of their top 3 players, I don't know. But if I was them and my top 3 players, or maybe even my top 2 players, were already off the board, I would trade away. I would trade back, acquire a few extra picks, because you need all the help you can get in draft, because you owe a lot of money to players not on your team. So don't be shocked if maybe the Dolphins are a candidate to trade back and come draft time. So I like it right now with Makai Lemon at number 11. Number 12, Cowboy fans. Are you out there? I don't know. I can't see you. Matty D, Cowboy fans, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. Please don't be mad at me. But I got the Dallas Cowboys taking offensive guard Vega Ione from Penn State. Yep, I know. Another offensive line that they may or may not use. But you got to protect Dak Prescott. You got to open up more lanes in the run game. What better way than one of the best offensive linemen in this year's class, especially on the interior, and Ione. And if you remember the Cowboys of the 90s, which some do, well, all Cowboy fans remember the 90s because that was their glory days. But if you remember the 90s, they had a strong run game. They had great offensive line. And there for a while in the, even in the 2000s, 2010s era, they were drafting linemen almost every year in the first round. I mean, when they had Travis Fredrickson and, Zach Martin, they had they had Tyron Smith. I mean, they had a plethora of big boys, and this is another one right here. Real quick, after that Dallas Cowboy pick, we have the pitch grid sharing with us that Michigan leading Howard by 4 at the half. That is not a very big lead. That is not a very big lead for a number 1 seed. But we saw earlier Duke overcoming the double-digit point at halftime. So Rams are up next, and this is really interesting because when I'm looking at their team needs here, they need offensive line, wide receiver, edge, linebacker, and defensive back. Well, Maui Noah's not there. Ione's not there. A few of the top edge rushers aren't there. Sonny Styles isn't there. I got them going tight end Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. I know they brought back Tyler Higbee, but let's just go stock up this offense. Huh? Let's give Matt Stafford all the playmakers he can handle for one final run at a Super Bowl and maybe a back-to-back MVP season. I'm all for it. I'm for it. So I got the Rams taking tight end Kenyon Sadiq. Ravens flock up. Offensive tackle guard Spencer Fanu. Jesse Minter is going to want to establish the trenches, and what better way than getting a utility offensive lineman? This guy said he would play center if he needs to. He'll play guard. He knows how to play tackle. He has the short arms. I get it, but this guy is a ball player. He is just a team player. He's going to put the team first, and that's kind of what they're going to need after the whole Max Crosby thing. We're not going to talk about it, but, the Max Crosby thing, new head coach. So I think going out and getting a great player, team player like Spencer Fanu has to be the focal point here. Offensive line is definitely a strong need. They need edge, wide receiver, defensive line, corner. So, I mean, they could go anywhere, but I look for them to either take a O lineman, but I don't know if they really need an edge after getting Hendrickson. So I look for them to take maybe an offensive lineman here. So I don't know. I know not very sexy picks in the top 15 with the 2 linemen, but you got to have linemen. You got to have them. I mean, they're essential. All right. Bucks fans. Let's see. I don't know. There's a few people out there that are Bucks fans. You're going offensive tackle Blake Miller from Clemson. Blake Miller from Clemson comes in. He can protect. you know, and some say that he could be like one of the best tackles in this year's draft class. Like he's an underrated player. So I don't know. Like, let me know, Bucks fans. Like, how do you feel about this? Do you want an offensive lineman in the first round? Nobody wants it. I get that, but would you be mad at this? All right. The Jets, Jets. They are taking a surprise pick here, guys. This one's going to baffle some of you guys. They're taking a wide receiver, but not the wide receiver you're thinking of. They're not taking a Jordan Tyson. They're not taking a KC Concepcion. They're not taking, whatever, another one of those wide receivers that are projected to go in the first round. They are going to take wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. Omar Cooper Jr. Hey, Ralph, welcome in, man. Welcome in. Yeah, thank you. Hey, thank you for joining the show last week. Hopefully, we can work something out to where I'm on your show. But thanks for tuning in, man. We're just kind of right here in the middle of this mock draft, and I revealed to the audience some breaking news at the top of the hour, and testing. Do I have your attention? Uh-oh. Bear with me. I hit my I hit my cords. Oh. Ah. I'm still here. Bear with me. I apologize. Gotta love technology. I'm not editing this out, by the way. This will be on the Spotify because I think fans deserve to see the bloopers or hear the bloopers. All right, we're back. I went to go plug in my computer and I accidentally bumped the cord that connects my microphone and my webcam and disconnected all of it. So we're back now, it looks like. And like I was saying at the top of the hour, I revealed some news that we are going to be transitioning from not just NFL and college football, but doing a little bit of everything. I'm still going to be primary football, guys. It's still a primary football podcast, but I'm going to sprinkle a little basketball. I'm going to sprinkle a little hockey. I don't know. I can't say I'm going to do golf, but, and pitch grid. I know earlier you said soccer. Well, I'll leave the soccer up to you, man. You're the one with the legendary takes, not me. You know soccer better than I do, so I'll let you do the soccer, and I can do the rest. Because you have great soccer takes. To those that don't know, the Pitch Grid Pod, he covers both football and soccer, and I can honestly say that he is the only person that I listen to when it comes to soccer. So all my soccer knowledge, I can literally say it's thanks to that man. So shout out to the Pitch Grid. All right. Where were we? That's right. Jets taking Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana. I know this is going to come as a shock, guys, but hey, Jets need a wide receiver, and I'm just not sold on Jordan Tyson. He had some injuries, and I'm just not sold on him, guys. So I got him taking Omar Cooper Jr. Now, here we go. Another lineman coming off the board at number 17. And that is offensive tackle Monroe Freeling from Georgia. This is kind of another one of those underrated players. And he could go a lot higher, but with this heavy edge rushing class at the top, some of these linemen are going to fall. But don't be surprised if some teams are like, "Hey, I need an offensive lineman. We need it in the worst ways. We're going to go up and get this guy." So, but I have the Detroit Lions taking Monroe Freeling. Viking fans, skull or whatever they say. I don't know. They're going to take safety Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. This guy is arguable. I mean, he's in the running. He could be like the top safety. I mean, obviously Caleb Downs will be, but you can't. Any team that drafts him, Thieneman, they're getting a great player. They're going to get, they're getting their money's worth with this guy. Panthers are going to take corner Jermod McCoy from Tennessee. The one thing that kind of is a hang up on this guy is he had that injury that kind of took a little bit longer than it should have. But for now, they're taking him. All right. Cowboy fans, the Matty D, Jerry Jones, Cowboy fans. You're going to go the opposite side of the line. You're going with an edge rusher. I did it in the last mock draft. I'm sticking with it. Akeem Mesidor going to the Dallas Cowboys at number 20. It just kind of seems like it's like a perfect fit for him. So, Steelers. Okay. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie when I tell you that I really was racking my brain on this one. Okay. I'm sitting here and I'm blowing through this mock draft. And when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. Like I already kind of know where I want to put these people. And then the Steelers, and let's look at the Steelers because earlier I was talking about them. They have 12 picks. They have the 21st. They have the 53rd. They have the 76th. They have the 85th. They have the 99th. They have 5 picks in the top 100. They have the 121st, the 135th. They have 7 picks in the top 150. They have a lot of needs. Quarterback, offensive line, wide receiver. Though they did go out and get Michael Pittman, but maybe you want to stock up on those wide receivers. They need a defensive back. They need defensive line. I did not know where to go with this for one reason. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there or not. Okay. If Aaron Rodgers is there, easily go take a defensive back or a defensive lineman or even an offensive lineman for that matter. But I don't know. So in this mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking quarterback Ty Simpson. I don't know. Like I said, I got to this. I was just breezing right through it, and here we go. So let me know. Guys, what you think about that pick. Well, here we go. My Chargers, bolt up. Okay, we didn't address the offensive line like I thought we were going to. Yes, we signed people. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the last episode. Go watch the clip. And on YouTube, it's the thumbnail is a picture of Charlie Kohler. And go check that clip out, and you'll see my thoughts on this. But so we're going to try to fix this offensive line in the first round. And offensive tackle Caden Proctor from Bama. He can also play guard. He's really athletic, and I think this would be kind of a great fit in that Mike McDaniel offense, and where he tends to value tackles more. Now I know tackle isn't a need because of Slater and Alt. Like I said, he could kick into guard if need to be, and that would just essentially he just wants to put like 4 big tackles and a center, and that could be the offensive line. So Caden Proctor from Bama goes to the Chargers, and Now, I will tell you, if certain players are not there, I would not be mad if the Chargers traded back because looking at their team needs, offensive line, edge, defensive line, corner, safety, only 5 picks though. Only 5 picks. The 22nd, the 55th, and the 86th in the top 100, 123rd and 204. So I don't know. If we're only a few players away, then sure, take the pick. But if we need to add a few depth pieces to make sure that we don't lose in the first round, trade back a couple spots, acquire a couple extra picks, and add some more talent to this team. So here we go. Moving right along at number 23. The Eagles take edge TJ Parker from Clemson. They need somebody. They lost Jalen Phillips in free agency to the Panthers. They need somebody to fill that hole. You know, they have a lot of holes that they need to fill. And Howie Roseman is one of those guys that, you know, he's gonna be making deals on draft day. So the Browns with their second pick in the first round. Now, they did address offensive line. I already addressed the wide receiver. I'm going offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lemieux. And kind of a shocker here, but Browns need to revamp that offensive line. And they did it in free agency, but you're still missing a few pieces. I think this is what helps that quarterback take it to the next level and turn this Browns offense around. So not the sexiest pick, but it's a much needed pick right here. The Bears need an edge rusher in the worst way, and they're going to take edge Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. I mean, it just seems like, I know he has, you know, kind of shorter arms. There seems to be a pattern here. I also would not be shocked if he moved to like linebacker. That guy could probably play linebacker. So I have him taking this guy at number 25, and I mean, it just seems right. Bills are going to take linebacker CJ Allen from Georgia. They need a linebacker. And I mean, they have O-line, edge, DB ahead, but I mean, they also need a D lineman, and there are a couple of good D linemen coming up. So who knows? But right now, I have them taking CJ Allen. I was trying to mix it up a little bit. And I put a few players, you know, kind of not where I had them before. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. I don't want every mock draft to be exactly the same. 49ers are taking wide receiver Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. And I know with the signing of Christian Kirk and bringing in Mike Evans, what better way than to draft a wide receiver, let him learn under 2 vets. I also, with them 2 specific players, they could go a more speedy option. But right now they're going to take Jordan Tyson. This probably won't be the pick come my final pick, but I think I already had Jordan Tyson selected before the signing of Christian Kirk, and I didn't change that one. I guess I forgot. Texans defensive line Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Texans need help on that interior defense, and they're going to get a big boy. You know, he's a big old run stopper. He's not super athletic, but you don't need him to be. Just put him at defensive tackle, put him at that nose tackle, and let him clog the lane. So we have Lee Hunter going to the Texans. 29, the Kansas City Chiefs via the Rams. Linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas. This guy is a baller. This guy can be a true middle linebacker, a true Mike linebacker, and could possibly be the second best linebacker in this class, but he's probably the third best. What better team for him to go to than the Kansas City Chiefs? And this will help that defense in a great way. So, Chief fans, let me know. Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker from Texas. Dolphins via the Broncos are taking corner Avian Terrell from Clemson. I watched him at the combine, and then I watched some of his tape, and I got to tell you, this guy he's pretty good. He's pretty good. So, and that's an understatement. He's the brother of AJ Terrell. We all know what AJ was, the player AJ Terrell is. So this kid is just as good and helps the Dolphins in a tremendous way because they need some secondary help. The runner-up in the Super Bowl, the Patriots take edge Keldrick Folk from Auburn. And this, I know that they might need the production year one, but let this guy go in under Mike Vrabel as head coach and let him learn from one of the best defensive players on a championship winning team. And Keldrick Folk comes in and really helps that defensive line. And finally, the Seattle Seahawks at number 32. They could go a couple of different ways. They also could trade out. They have 4 picks total. Not very sexy. And they kind of lost a lot. And I just want to point out that they do have 3 in the top 100. The 32nd, the 64th, and the 96th. But then after the 96th, they don't have another pick until the 188th via the Browns. So they need running back, corner, offensive line, edge, wide receiver. And this one, I have them taking a corner, and that is Colton Hood, the other tight end or the other corner from Tennessee. I was 1T too early on that. The Seahawks are taking corner Colton Hood from Tennessee. They could also take Jadarian Price and Mike Washington at running back. They are probably going to trade. I think they would probably trade and acquire a couple of picks in the second and third round or acquire a second or third round and kind of build some depth. So that is the mock draft, guys. That is the mock draft. Let me know what you guys think. And is your team, are you happy with what I gave your team? Because some people will be, some people won't be. Oh my gosh. Breaking news. VCU and North Carolina headed to overtime. Holy cow. I picked North Carolina. Growing up, I was kind of a North Carolina fan. Of course, Michael Jordan went there, but point guard Ty Lawson, he went there. And I was a big Ty Lawson fan. And so I kind of, growing up, I kind of rooted for North Carolina. I live in Arkansas, so right in the heart of Razorback country. And so in basketball, I root for the Hogs now. And of course, football, Notre Dame is always my true team. I will always support all the local, the Hogs in basketball, baseball, football. But Notre Dame and football will always be true and true. Can't take that away from me. And so this actually kind of shocks me that North Carolina and VCU, but VCU is not a team. I mean, they are a great team. Solid mock. I think Chiefs could go so many positions and I wouldn't be mad. Yeah. They don't necessarily need a lot. I mean, they went out and got the best running back in free agency. So that right there, because a lot of mocks had Jeremiah Love going to them at 9. And now, I mean, that kind of opens them up. They could take offensive tackle, but don't be shocked if the GM and Andy Reid trade back and acquire more picks because they're not afraid. They're not afraid to make some draft day trades. So yeah, running back is not a need. No, it's not. Okay, so guys, like I said at the top of the hour, I am going to be sprinkling a little bit of basketball, a little bit. I'm trying to get into hockey, guys. I am. I don't understand it, and a lot of it is like I don't understand. Like I don't understand what the offside, kind of like in soccer. I don't understand what the offsides is. Um, I'm still learning what icing is. One thing I do understand is if somebody's up on that glass, oh, they getting checked. They getting checked. All right. That is one thing I do understand. So I understand that aspect. I understand, there's a goalie. I think there's a couple are they called wings, forwards? I don't even know the correct terminology, but so I wouldn't be shocked if we went tackle. I gave him offensive tackle in the top 10. Real quick, pitch grid. Explain to me and to the audience that doesn't know soccer what offsides in soccer means. Because I've heard it called before. I have watched a few games, like a few. Probably can count on one hand, but I heard and hey, real quick, what'd you think about that one game that there was like 23 red flags, huh? There you go. There you go. That's about as much soccer news as I can provide for you. And I only knew that because it popped up on my alerts. So, real quick, explain um, to the audience offsides. And while he's doing that, guys, like I said, I do have some guests lined up. So we are going to be having some new guests on the show. And guys, if you have not seen it already, which you probably have if you have um seen any of my recent posts or anything. But looky there, new logo. What do you guys think about the new logo? And just real quick, like you saw the old one real quick. What do you think of the new one? A basic explanation is that a striker, when a ball is played to him, cannot be beyond the defensive line. So if he is ahead of defensive players, he is offsides. Okay. But yeah, what do you guys think about this lovely little logo there, guys? I think it looks great. I thought it was time for a brand new logo. And to those that are listening on Spotify later, go check out YouTube, go check out Facebook, and see this wonderful new logo on the screen. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan because it's I don't know, it's kind of like refreshing, it's I don't know, it was much needed. The old one was great, but something I didn't notice until actually just recent, that the letters kind of blended into the background, so you kind of couldn't read what it said unless it was up close. Even if he is leaning the attacking player when the ball is played to him on the toes of the player passing him the ball, he cannot be ahead of the defensive players. He must be behind or level with them. Yeah, see? I never got that. It's a good rebrand. Hey, thanks. Not so much a rebrand as it was more just kind of a upgrade, a refresher. So, well, guys, I have said what I needed to say. And this has been a great episode. If you just now tuning in, you can listen to it. You can go back, listen to it later. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on Facebook. Look out for the post on Instagram. I think I want to try to do it on Fridays. That way it gives you guys all weekend. And then I will dedicate an episode to do that. So I'm doing that. We got guests coming on. If there's any guests that you want me to reach out to or that you think would be interested in, let me know. I'll reach out to them. Guys, if you want to be on the show, you can find me on the socials, reach out that way. You can also email me at answerthecoll@gmail.com. That is answerthecoll@gmail.com. All the socials, guys. So you guys have a great night, and we're going to wrap that up